Hey y'all, happy Sunday and welcome to this week's live Q&A session. This is the portion of the show where we allow YouTube to send out notifications that we're going live. If you're watching this live Q&A on replay, please scrub ahead until this graphic disappears and the actual show begins. If you're watching live and you have any comments or questions, please go ahead and put them in the live chat. But for now, grab a beverage, sit back, and relax while the countdown timer does its thing. Then we'll get started. Happy Sunday, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. Oh, man, we're getting closer and closer. December 15th, 10 days till the big day. Oh, man. Here's hoping we all make it. We should. I don't know if we've ever not made it before, but those who know understand. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you and yours are getting ready for all of this craziness to come up. Um, Today's kind of an open Q&A. Had a guest tentatively lined up, but that fell through. Just didn't work out. But we'll do it. We'll figure it out. Before we get going today, I have a couple of questions set aside that I have found in your comments. If you have any questions at all, uh, by all means, throw it in the chat here, and I'll tap dance until I come across it. But before we do anything else, I want to give my friend Steve a shout out. I talk about Harniel Media every Sunday, and I'm going to continue to do so until he tells me to knock it off. He's busy, uh, which I don't see happening because Steve is that kind of guy. Look, if you're even thinking about looking into a website, maybe you'd like to set up a web store, maybe you'd like to set up uh, merch. You want to offer your product, services, and merchandise to the public at large. There's no better way to do it than with your own website. And Steve over at Harniel Media makes it easy for you. He'll do as much or as little as you want to do. If you're experienced in running a website, fine, he'll back off. If you're like me and have no idea what you're doing, uh, he'll help in that case too. He's very, very competitively priced. You won't believe he does it as cheaply as he does, especially for the service he provides. And that's the main point of this. When you work with Harniel Media, you work with Steve, not some nameless, faceless person in a call center somewhere, and not somebody who's afraid you're going to peek behind the curtain. You're dealing with Steve 100% of the time, and it's a personalized service. Do yourself a favor, head over to harneilmedia.com. You'll find a link in every video and live stream on this channel, and it's that way for a reason. And the reason is he gives you results. He doesn't give you excuses. He's not going to try to convince you that you can live without something that you really, really want. So do yourself a favor, head over to harneilmedia.com, hit that contact us link, and shoot him a message. He will get back to you. Steve, thank you very, very much for what you do for me. I appreciate it. You have no idea. Okay, we'll get into it today. Man, it's gonna be a wild 10 days. I can tell that already. So let's just dive into some of the questions that we've got. The first one up is from The Adventures of D&L. Question for you guys. What bit would you buy to do a profile cutout that is 1.65 thick? I'm assuming you mean inches, because 1.65 millimeters wouldn't be a big deal. If you have the ability at all, this is the time to invest in half-inch tooling. You'll find most quarter-inch tooling, quarter-inch diameter shank, you're limited to about an inch. If it's at all possible, step up to half-inch tooling. I've got this monster of a half-inch diameter downcut end mill. It's made by Whiteside, and it is the part number, I'll put it over here in the chat, RD5200. And it's a monster. It's got a 2-inch cutting depth. Okay. If you can get a half-inch collet for your router or spindle, this is the time. It's It works very, very well. It's very aggressive. So depending upon your machine or your setup, your router setup, um, you might have to slow down your feed rate. You might have to limit your cut depth. It's just going to depend on how much flex is in your gantry. But if you have a half-inch collet or can get a half-inch collet for your router or spindle, I would I would encourage you to do so. The ability to use half-inch shank bits really opens up a lot of worlds. You can get stronger. Uh, well, the bits are stronger. They're more durable, and you can get a little bit more aggressive with some of the cuts. In that, like for instance, if you're using a core box bit or a bowl bit, you can set deeper pass depths, and you have less deflection when it comes to the sideways motions. If you are forced to work with 1/4 inch bits, if you have no choice, um, you can get extended cut bits, but I don't know if there are any out there that will cut up to, see, you want to cut up to 1.65 inches. You need a 1 3/4 inch cut length. I don't know if there are any out there that go that deeply. Um, but I would definitely look into half-inch tooling. Okay, yes, that's possible. It's an Axiom Pro 5. Okay, I would definitely get into half-inch tooling. And you'd be amazed at what some of these half-inch bits will do. They will. Pro tip: have good dust collection, because this puppy will sling chips all over the place. So have good dust collection. Yeah, that's if you've been thinking about half-inch diameter tooling, this is the excuse you need. This has got a 2-inch cut depth, and it'll use every bit of it. Believe me. I squared up that 2-inch thick cutting board back there with this bit, and it nice. It works very nice. So, and again, that's the Whiteside RD 5200. I will find a link to the bit and put it in the description as soon as we're finished live here. And I'll keep the bit right there so I know to do that. So, yeah, if you've been looking for an excuse, this is it. See, I bought a bunch of church pews and the ends are that thick. Yeah, it'll handle it for you. It'll handle it, believe me. Okay, let's see here. Sargon is asking, have you routed pressure-treated lumber? I just wonder if it's brittle to use the CNC and it may chip easily. Can it also be bad for the bits because of possible copper in it? I don't want to make a blanket statement about what they're using to pressure treat. I know they used to use a copper arsenate, but not. I think they've gotten rid of the. I know they've gotten rid of the arsenic that they were using. They had to go something a little bit more environmental friendly and less toxic. Pressure treated lumber, if it's fairly new, it's going to be wet. And I mean big time wet. So as far as brittle is concerned, as far as it being brittle, I haven't found it being brittle much at all. It's usually just the opposite. It's extremely wet. Now, if it's old, if this is reclaimed or something like that, it's no more or less brittle than any other old uh, um, what would structural lumber? No, dimensional lumber. Excuse me. It's no more or less brittle than dimensional lumber. Gary Meyer is 100% right. You need good dust collection. And in fact, I would also venture to say a respirator, because if it heats up, the pressure treating can release fumes. Um, the chips, if you're wearing gloves and if you take normal precautions, I've built with pressure treated lumber a lot, fence posts and outdoor furniture and what have you. Just take normal precautions, wear gloves, wash up after you're done. Um, most of the pressure treating, almost all pressure treating will start putting out fumes if it heats up. If you smoke, don't smoke. Wash your hands before you smoke, because that will release fumes. You will get a lot of fuzziness because it is so wet. And it'll be about double the weight of your standard. An 8-foot pressure treated 2x4 is about double the weight of a standard pressure treated 2x4. Wash all your tooling as soon as you're done. Wash the collet and the bit. Some simple green and a little bit of a brush. I don't know if it'll have any adverse effects on any coatings that may be on those bits, but I would wash them up real good and then wipe down everything, vacuum up any chips that are floating around. It's not, you don't have to treat this like it's you don't have to treat it like it's nuclear waste or anything. You don't have to have self-contained breathing apparatus or anything like that. Um, it's more or less just kind of use normal precautions. It will cut just the same as any other timber. Just be respectful of that pressure treatment, and also know that the pressure treating only it's only absorbed in about maybe the first half inch at the most. If you take a pressure treated 2x4 and you cut about 3-4 inches in from an end, and then look at that cross section, you'll see that pressure treating does not go all the way through. So if you pocket something out or make a mortise in it, you're exposing untreated wood. So, you know, it's you know, it's all up to you. If you want to treat it further from there, you can get treatments that you can brush in there, but just know that you're removing a lot of that treating. So if that's important to you that it stay treated, you can get treatments that are brushed on. So, all right, let's see what else we have. And I hope that answered that. Eighth Center says, how can you make an easy dotted line in VCarve? How can you draw a dotted line, or how can you carve a dotted line? Drawing a dotted line is not something, excuse me. Drawing a dotted line is not something I have had to do. But let's take a look at it. I would probably venture to say, if you need to draw a dotted line, your best bet would be to draw a line segment. Yeah, I'll just, no need to even bring it up. I would just suggest a line segment, the length that you want, and then array copy that line segment. If you're using that dotted line for a guide, uh, you can just use a guideline. But if you want to like carve on that dotted line, carve a bunch of line segments, then yeah, I would suggest exactly a pattern along a path. And there are a couple ways of doing that, as a matter of fact. Let me go ahead and bring this back. What we're going to do is we'll draw a vector here, and I'm going to go from side to side just because. And then we'll draw a line segment. I'm going to click right here. I'm going to slide it over a little bit. I want my angle to be 0, and I want my length to be 0.25, and I'll click add, and I've made a 1/4 inch long line segment. Okay. Now, first thing I'm going to do is, or the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it up to right there and set it along that line. Then I'm going to box select from left to right and select that line segment. Then we're going to do a linear, a copy along the vector. So we'll click, and what I'll do is I'm going to copy that object. I've selected the object I want to copy. Hold down Shift. Now I'm going to select that vector. I want to copy the object along that vector. And let's put our distance between the copies at 0.25. And we can either force even spacing or not, and just however many will fit a 1/4 inch apart, that's how many will go. Or I can select the number of copies I want. So if I want 12, I'll just click on this, type in 12. I want to align there is no curve. Create copies on a new layer. I don't want to do that. I don't have a curve to align to, and I'll just click copy. Now, you can't really see them yet because they're sitting on top of this vector. So I'll select that vector. Nope, that's a segment. That's a segment. There we go. I'll select that vector I drew as my guide vector and delete it, and there's my dotted line. Now, I did not force the even spacing, but there's a dotted line. That's one way to do it. Okay. It says, yeah, it was a sign maker asking about the dotted line, I think. Okay, this must have been in last week's live Q&A or something along that I missed. So that's one way of doing it. Another way would be just to do a standard linear array, but following a vector or just a standard linear array is an easy way of doing it. Let's see here. I'm going to select them all and not worry so much about the spacing. I'm going to go into Align, and I want space selection. I want to space them horizontally, evenly. And there we go. Close that. And now they're all evenly spaced, half off of the edge of the material and half off the edge of the material here. And they're all spaced evenly. Okay. It was asked in a Facebook Onefinity group. Okay, I'm not a member of any Onefinity groups. I'm not a member of any groups that are machine specific. So, in fact, I'm only a member of 3 Facebook groups, 4 if you count my private Facebook group for members, channel members only. So that's how I would draw a dotted line. That's, it could come in useful. It could come up quite often. Never know. Depends on what you do. All right. So I hope that answered that question. So let's see here. Alan Williamson, the Howlin' Holler. All right. Ask, could you give some details on setting up 0 on the bed? I'm presuming it automatically raises above the material and doesn't cut any lower. never done this, so just interested. Yeah, I can give a little bit of detail on it, but do know that I have a video on my channel. I will link it, and I'm writing myself a note. I will link it as soon as we're finished live here, but basically what we're talking about is up here in job setup. You can set your Z0 to the material surface or to the machine bed. I don't remember off the top of my head if I made two separate videos on this, but there is also a way to have both in the same project by using sheets, where you can set up one sheet to where you're Z-zeroing on the material surface and the other sheet to where you're zeroing off of the machine bed. And basically, it is as you think it is. If you set your material to the machine bed, when it goes to carve, it will not just lift up over the surface of the material and move over there. So long as you have your material thickness set right, it will also it'll raise up the thickness of the material and your safe Z setting. So that's over here in your material setup. Your rapid gap Z1, that is your safe Z setting. So in my case, with my material thickness being 0.75, when it goes to lift up to move over to make that first cut, it's going to lift up that 0.75 plus this 0.2 for a total of 0.95, almost an inch. It'll lift all the way over and then plunge in and start making the cuts. The general rule of thumb that I try to follow, and this is just me, I speak only for myself, is if I'm cutting from the surface down into the material, like a VCarve or an engraving or something like that, I will set it to the material surface. If I'm cutting down all the way through the material, or in the case of a surfacing toolpath, if I need that material to be a specific thickness when it's done surfacing, I will set off of the machine bed. So I have a video on setting your Z0 to the machine bed, and Steve has already linked them both right out here. Thank you, Steve, on top of it. This is the video here on setting it either to the machine bed or the material surface and why you would choose either one. And then this video here is how to use sheets to be able to set to both the material surface and the machine bed on one project, obviously using different tool paths. But they both have their place. They both come in real handy. And it just depends on what your project is. I will also link them down in the description of this live stream as soon as I'm done with here on the live stream. I'll put it down in the description. I lost my train of thought reading another question coming in. All right, and I hope that answers your question, Alan. And thanks for that question. All right, Kurt H has one that's multi-part here. He's asking, I have 3 different sheets in my job. I want to copy the 3 different parts to a single altogether sheet. I got all 3 parts copied onto the sheet, but not the tool path associated with the parts. Okay. How do I keep the tool paths associated to the parts when I copy them from sheet to sheet. Okay. Stick with me on this, okay? Because this is going to be multi-tiered, all right? Right now, there is a way to do it, but you kind of have to go out and around and down and all this other good stuff to make it work. It could be confusing, not necessarily. We'll find out in a minute. Just know that in the 12.5 update, that is coming. Okay. And they're looking at releasing that in spring. The ability to copy or move toolpaths to another sheet is coming. All right. But for right now, probably the easiest way to do it. Let's go over here and I'll create a real simple toolpath. We'll pocket out, we'll VCarve a star. All right. And so I'll jump over here and I'll VCarve a star. I want to go with a flat depth of 0.25. And 90-degree V-bit is fine. And clearance tools, I'll use an 1/8 inch end mill. Select, and I'll do it offset. And we'll calculate, and there we go. All right. And we'll preview. Shaboom. Shaboom. All right, we got it. Everything's cool. Now, I'll come back over here and I'll create a new sheet. Add new. I'll leave it named sheet 2. And go back into my design tab. Now, I want to select this and copy to sheet 2. So now I have that star on both sheets. One way to do this is I'm in sheet 1. I'm in sheet 1 with my toolpaths open. Switch over to sheet 2. The toolpath goes away. But if I go back into sheet 1, open the toolpath, then go into sheet 2 and calculate. Oops, I forgot to select the vector. Then calculate. I'm in sheet 2. I can preview the toolpaths. But now, if I come back out here, go into sheet 1, it took away those toolpaths. Okay? So what you can do, and again, you'd have to do this with each toolpath. So if you've got 12 or 13 toolpaths down here, go into the toolpath, then up here, change into the sheet you want to go to. Then recalculate that toolpath. Just know it takes that toolpath away from your first sheet. Now, there's another way of doing it. Let me go back into sheet 2, close. I'll go back into the toolpath, put it back on sheet 1, then calculate. Oh, come on, Mark. Select the vector, calculate. All right, so my toolpath is back on sheet 1. If you don't want to do that, what you can do is select them. Then you want to create a toolpath template. And I've got to remember, save the selected toolpath as a template. And we'll click on that. Come on. Oh, select the toolpath. We'll click on that. And now I can save that as a template. All right. Put it on my desktop, VCarve 1, clear 1, toolpath template, save. VCarve 1, save that as a template. Okay. Then I can come up here into sheet 2. And now I can open a template. Where is open a template? Yabba-da, yabba-da, yabba-da. Come on. Where is it? Where is it? Load toolpath template. There it is. Holy cow. There's my clear. Open. No, not all sheets, just this sheet. And there it is. So one way is to, if you want it on both, I can switch over to sheet 1. And there is my toolpath. Then sheet 2, there is my toolpath. So you can either save the toolpath as a template and then load that template into the other sheet, or you can just change sheets and recalculate. So there's that. I hope that addresses that. Now, having said all that, that is coming. You will be able to copy a toolpath over to another sheet, but you may have to recalculate. Okay. That is still being worked on. You will probably have to select the vectors and recalculate on your new sheet. So, all right. Template it is. Thanks. Okay, you're welcome. And as it sits right now, that's the way you kind of have to do it. It's a workaround, but just know that it is being worked on. It is being addressed. So, let's see here. And I hope that answered everything. See, David McNair says, Marks, thanks for your videos. Thank you for watching. Something I noticed today while doing the final cut to release the product, I placed the holding tabs too close to the ramping start points. Yep, that's something you got to watch out for. I missed some of that question. So the next tool didn't have enough space to ramp. I must have missed some of your question. Let me go back and look, David. I apologize. Oh, okay. That was all your question. When ramping, let me go back over here. I also had another question about leads with tabs. Let me entertain you. Let me go back over here for a minute and we'll bring that out, and I'm going to resize this here on sheet 2. I want it to be 8 inches tall. Link XY check, yes. And there we go. Okay. And I'm going to delete these because I want to cut it out. Delete all visible. And here we go. So it's going to take 3 passes with this, yada, 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 yada. All right, I do want to add tabs. And my tab, I don't want a 5-inch long tab. I want a 0.5-inch long tab. And I don't want it to be an inch thick. I want it to be 1/4 of an inch thick. And I'm going to edit the tabs. I'll place them on nice flat areas. And I'll put another one, say, right. Now, that should be enough. I'll just put one right there. Okay. Close. So I've got my tabs. When I do a lead in, add leads, I want a, let's see, what do I want? Do I want a straight line lead? I think I'll do a straight line lead at a 45-degree angle. That should work. And then I'm going to do a lead out. And I think I want the overcut distance to be the diameter of my end mill. So 0.25. And let's preview it and see what's going on. One or more leads were clipped or removed. To avoid gouging, one or more leads had to be reduced in length or removed completely. All right. Check the toolpath is still suitable for your requirements. Okay. And here's why. Looking at my start point, it's right here. So where are they getting that lead in and lead out from? I don't get where they're getting that. Let's go back into it. And we will look at the leads. Lead length 10 inches. No, where are we getting that? We're going to go with 1 inch. Well, yeah, let's go with 1 inch. All right. And there. Now let's try that. Calculate. All right. Still clipped. Why clipped? Why is that clipped? Oh, I see. An overcut distance. It needs to be a little bit more than that. Let me do an overcut of leads. Let's do an overcut of, let's go 1 inch. What the heck? All right. Still being clipped. Wonder why that is. It's not doing the lead out. I don't know why it's not doing a lead out. Well, let's slow it down and see what's going on. Yeah, let's go a little bit faster. So let's preview that. Either it's not doing the lead in or it's not doing the lead out, one of the two. Okay, it's doing the lead out. It's not doing the lead in. Wonder why that is. Did I put my tab too close? Maybe because I put my tab too close. Why is it not doing a lead in? Let's look at my leads. Straight line lead and angle. All right. So here's what we'll do. We'll change that to a circular lead. And we'll use the radius of 1.5 inches. Lead length of 1. Let's calculate. Still clipping the lead in. And I don't get why. It's not leading, it's ramping. And I don't get why that is. No, that wouldn't have anything to do with it. Is it in the wrong direction? I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's go ahead and preview it and see what it does. It's leading in and out. Wow. Okay. That might be it, Bob, now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm looking at it. I've also got a start point right here. Start point generally should be an outside corner, not an inside area. Let me try moving my start point up here to the top. Let's reset the preview, go into the 2D view, go into node editing, and let's make this the start point. come out of node editing, reset the preview, go back into the toolpath. Now let's calculate. Is this the kind of problem you were having there? I can't now. David, is this the kind of problem you were having? Now let's go back into the toolpath. We'll go back over to leads and we'll make it a straight line lead. Lead length 0.3. No, let's make the lead length 1 inch. The 1 inch over. I don't need a 1 inch overcut. We can go ½ inch, 0.5. And we'll calculate that. Now I didn't get the warning, and there it is. That was the problem. It was an inside corner. Now I have both leads, and it's nowhere near my tabs. So let's preview the toolpath, and I can speed that up. And there's my lead out. Here's my lead in, and it's going in that direction. So it was the fact that it was by an inside corner. Now, it couldn't come down here and do a lead in because it couldn't go that length at a 45-degree angle and then cut it that direction. So there's the issue. I went ahead and I took the tabs off of this corner. I had put them here, 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 and here. Didn't put a tab up here. So the lead needs to be at an outside corner. So, man, that was a long way to go to get to that. I don't know, did that answer your question? Am I correct that leads don't work on the final pass? Yes, sir, they do. Yes, sir, they do. Let's go back, slow that way down, and we'll preview it. There's the lead, and we'll just take a couple of seconds. And speed it up a tad and go faster than that. So yeah, it did go do the lead out, lift up, come back here and do the lead in. And it does do it on the final pass. So there we go. So the leads do work. Now, let me try something in here and see what happens, because I did not use a separate last pass, and my normal allowance is 10 thousandths. So we're going to do that now, calculate, and we'll watch it again. See how it works with a separate last pass. No, it didn't work with a separate last pass. This is sounding very familiar to me, Pete. I think I did a video on using a separate last pass with ramps and leads. I'm almost sure I did. Yeah, I'm almost certain I did a video on using ramps and leads with a separate last pass. I will go look. I just wrote myself a note. I will go look, and if I did do a video, I will link it down in the description. That sounds awful ding dong familiar. I got to claim ignorance here. I have over 600 videos on this channel between videos and live streams. So yeah, I don't remember what I've done and what I haven't. And because new versions have come out, I probably didn't do one for this. Yeah, Steve, that was the very first separate last pass video. But I did one with ramps, leads, and a separate last pass. I will go link it. Let's see here. Now, that was the last question that I've got. Are there any other questions? As we've been on for 50 minutes, and I know y'all don't want me to tap dance for. Okay, Alan Williamson says, when would lead in and lead out be used? The best analogy I could give you when a lead in and lead out would be used would be if it's absolutely crucial that this outside edge be absolutely pristine. Generally speaking, I don't concern myself with leads. I ramp in most of the time, just simply because it's easier on the tool, and depending upon the material, it can be easier on the material as well. Basically, if you need this outside edge to be pristine and you don't want the witness mark where the bit dives down vertically, you lead into it and then it starts cutting. Also, there's a point when you're using a compression bit. Let me grab one here. A compression bit has, nope, that's not it. That's not it. Come on. A compression bit has, is that it? Yes. It's upcut. The bottom part of it. Here's one here. Let me take this out. Come on. There we go. The bottom part of this bit is upcut. Then this is a compression portion right in the center. And then the top of this is downcut. So if you make your first pass with that upcut portion exposed, it's just like using an upcut bit. It's going to chip out the top. So you start a lead off of your part and it starts plunging in to the point to where all of this upcut portion of the bit is down in the material before it gets to your part. In this case over here, the bit would be plunging in out here and then get down to where the upcut portion of this bit is down below the surface of the material before it starts cutting the rest of this. So that is the one purpose of using a lead in and a lead out. So let's see here. And yeah, as Kurt says, lead in would be good when using a compression bit, I think. Exactly. You just want to make sure you can get that downcut portion down below the surface of the material before it gets to your part. So let's see here. Daniel says, or David says, I'm always nervous when working on a design project on the CNC for 2 days. And I do the final cutout from the opposite side of a two-sided project. I guess it simply takes years to get over that. No, not years. It basically, oops, excuse me. So long as you're accurate with your placement and setting your X, Y, and Z axis, as long as you're accurate with it, you're fine, you know. I personally don't like to leave a project, leave the CNC running overnight. So I will proportion my time so that I can get the whole cut done during the day. Sometimes that's not that's just not feasible. You may have to do side one because it's a 10-hour carve, and then go to bed, and come out the next day, and you have a 12-hour card on the other side. Then, yeah, a little bit of nerves. I can understand that. Um, but that's just something that we all have to deal with. You know what I mean? So, let's see here. Let's get into. Let's see here. Rich Bratcher, new member Brooks Martin. Okay. I need to create a vector in the center of the 3D cut that won't get carved so I can cut my squatch and have it proud of the 3D landscape. Excuse me. I've been trying for some time to cut 3D landscape scene for the background. In the center of the landscape, I want to leave a raised area to carve a different 2D model or 3D model in. Okay. Well, then what we can do, let me bring this over here. And I'm going to use some simple ones just to kind of show. Clip art, design. No, I don't. I don't want to go on design and make. I'll use a dish, and I'm gonna do a flat round circle. So I've got a flat round circle out here, and I'm going to hold down Shift so that I'm anchoring at the center. Bring it out to about right there. Okay. Go into my components, and I'm going to change my combine mode to subtract. So it's a dish. I'm looking at a dish here. Okay. And I'm going to put a zero plane over that so that it fills in those ragged edges. Okay. Now, I want to keep that center part raised, so it doesn't carve as part of this dish because I want to put something else there. All right. There's a couple of ways we can do it. Now, I'm in VCarve Pro. I'm not in Aspire. In Aspire, this is much simpler. But in VCarve Pro, what I'm going to do is go back into my 2D view. We'll click off. Now I'm going to come out here. No, I'm not going to draw a rectangle. Let's close that. I'm going to draw a circle. About like, let's make it a 5-inch diameter circle. Close. And I'm going to align that to the center of my material. All right. Now I'm going to also select my circle here, and I'm going to put a circle around the model down here. Create a vector boundary around the selected component. Okay. And so now I've got two circles here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and I'm going to calculate a toolpath now, and I'm going to select that vector, and I'm going to select this vector. And I'm going to, let's get rid of that, delete this. All right. Select that vector, select this vector, close that, and I'm going to go into my 3D modeling toolpath. For machine limit boundary, the selected vectors. I'm not going to use a boundary offset. And I'm going to calculate, and only this portion of that model is going to be carved. So this area will not be machined at all. Now you can put whatever you'd like in this area. We'll go ahead and we'll preview that. And it's just going to go around in a circle and cut that out. That's probably going to take way too long to simulate, especially at that speed. There we go. So it's cut out our dish, but it's left that unmachined. Okay. Now I can come back over here into, whoops, let's come back over here onto the design side, go back into my clipboard, and let's see, what do we got here? I don't have an alligator in this one, but what I do have, let's see, what have I got? Objects and people. What are we going to do here? I don't know. I need to find something neat. Soccer ball. All right. And let's size that soccer ball down. Hold down Shift until it's about the size of that center. Well, let's just do this easy. I'm going to make that I'm going to size that component to be 5 inches. Apply, close, select that vector, and close this. And I want to do a finishing toolpath for that one. Model thickness exceeds material thickness. My model thickness is 0.765. No. I don't want to go that deep. I want to go, let me get out of here, cancel. I forgot I need to check back into my preview. I need to check my depth. 0.4568. Yes, 0.4568 is the deepest I see. Let's make sure of that. 4568 is the depth. That was the problem. All right. So I want that model to be 0.4568. I'll set my model thickness right here. 0.4568. Apply. Close. And looks good. Okay. Okay. Now I need to do another 3D toolpath. I want to do this one. Selected vector is my machining limit. Calculate. Let's do this one. Preview that selected toolpath. It's not nice, but you get the gist. Let's see here. I was trying to have trees and a mountain scene as the background from my cut. Oh, that's just a composite model. That's just a composite model. I'll give you an example here. Let me, I'm not going to reset that preview. Let me jump up to the top. 2D view, click out of this, click out of that. Come back over to the 2D view, I'll come back over to sheet 1. We'll delete that star. And I'm gonna go into sheets and we're gonna edit sheet 1. Got to select it so that it's highlighted in blue. Now I'm gonna edit that. I'm gonna change the size, 12 inches high, 24 wide, and the same 3/4 inch thick. Okay, we're good. Now I'm going to go into clip art and let's see, what do I have from design and make? I have wildlife scenes here, so I have some mountains. So double click to put those mountains in there. And let's, come on. Let's scoot them up some. There we go. I'm gonna leave that just as it is. Okay, now I've got some grass over here. I'll bring that down. Let's resize it. Come on, you. There we go. Bring it down to about like sogi. Take a look at our 3D view. What have we got? Yeah, we're looking good right there. Looks fine. And now let's go into back up here into the clip art and look at our animals. And I think we do have a cantering horse right there. Let's drag you over here, number 1. And now we need to go into components and we need to bring, we're set to merge. Let's set that to add. And no, we do need it to merge. Combine mode set to merge, but we're going to go into properties and we're going to give you a base height. Let's try 125 and let's try 0.25. See what we get. And we still need a little bit more overall. Base height. I keep forgetting these controls out here. 0.35. Nope. Need to keep going. 0.4. There we go. Well, no, I still got a little bit over here. But you get my point. 0.45. Now, where did that go? Shape height 0.7. Oh, because it went too deep. Let me make this shape height. Oh, well, there's your problem. 0.5. That's why that needed to be so thick. Why is this not showing my shape? Why is that not showing my shape? Have I found a limit to my graphics card? Oh, well. After you do the mountains and whatever, also I need to have the center uncut. I'm okay with composite models. Oh, okay. No, Mark, what you did was what I was trying to do. Okay, you're not trying to do this? All right. That's good because I'm having issues and I don't understand why it's doing what it's doing. I'm going to need to fade and tilt a little bit here. All right, that's good. I don't understand. I think I've reached the limit of my graphics card because for some reason it wanted to dive out of that and wouldn't let me complete it. All right. Let's see. Let's see here. Tony Patterson. Going to be working with a pre-cut piece of wood that is a circle. What is the best way to find center? If it's pre-cut and it's a circle, if it's a perfect circle, you should be able to take a straight edge, lay it across that circle, and just draw some lines. You will find the center. You will find center. If it's if you can get a good measurement of the diameter of that circle, then you've got it covered. find the diameter of that circle. Well, yeah, measuring one side of the other. It's a 10-inch circle. 5 inches in is going to be your center point. You can measure 5 inches in from one edge, say at 90 degrees, the 3 o'clock position. Then go from the 12 o'clock position 5 inches down, make a tick. Where those lines cross is the center. So there are lots of neat little center finders. I have a center finder, depending upon how big it is, of course. I use this a lot for dowels and small centers. I'll grab a roll of tape, use that to show you. And I'll go find a link to this and put it in the comments or in the description as soon as we go off the air. Just a little piece of plastic, but it's got these raised bosses. This is for, it's a 90 degree. This is for a circle. This is 60 degree. It's for like a hexagon. I can put this so that that raised boss, my tape is on the edge of that raised boss. Then you've got a straight line here and a wildly exaggerated crooked line. You'll put your pencil on that straight line there and draw across. Then rotate it. Doesn't have to be a perfect 90 degrees, and strike a line across again. Where those two meet, that's your center. Now, eighth center is absolutely correct. This is where a 3D printer handy. There are lots of circle finders that are free to print. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can use all kinds of different ways of finding center. And a 3D printed one of these, or this one, where did I get this one from? PowerTech. I got this one from PowerTech on Amazon. They're not expensive. In fact, I have two of them. I have one out here, one in the house. But they're great for finding center on like dowels and what have you. And that's mainly what I use it for. So, all righty, let's see. Well, we've been at it for about 1 minute 15. I'd like to throw an idea your way. And last week, I got some very good feedback from you all about Maurice from Erickson Design and Woodworking. And Maurice was here earlier. I'm sure he's preparing for his live stream. Nice segue, which is going to be this afternoon. Let me look to make absolutely certain. I got to find him. I'm talking about Maurice over at Erickson Design and Woodworking. He has a live stream this afternoon at 2 p.m. Pacific. So that'd be 5 p.m. Eastern. He made a comment last week while he was a guest on my channel here on my live stream. He made a comment about doing V inlays in Fusion 360, deep VCarve inlays in Fusion 360. He made a couple comments saying, yeah, I mean, it'll work, but it won't work, and it will work, and it won't work. Well, he has corrected that, and he's doing a live Q&A this afternoon, again, at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, where he's going to go through doing deep VCarve inlays on Fusion 360. So if you are a Fusion 360 user, then by all means, head over to his channel and watch his live stream. I've already put a link to his live stream down in the description of this video. So Maurice is a good guy. Game recognized game. He's very good at what he does. And if you're not subscribed to his channel, well, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, do yourself a favor and get over and do it. He's got some killer killer projects over there. Not 100% of them can be switched over to be used with Vectric, but the ideas certainly can. So by all means, yes, head over there and check out his live stream this afternoon. Again, link down in the description, and just binge watch his channel. He's a good guy. He's got some great projects. See, Brooks Martin is asking, I recognize the orange bottle on the machine, but the green bottle I do not know. Could you show it? Well, sure. This is not really a CNC project, but I did use the CNC to flatten it, but that's about it. And that is my Chaos Pattern End Grain cutting board. This is a big kahuna. It is 20 by 15. This and this is what I'm finishing it with. This is Hope's 100% pure tongue oil. And the first coat, I thinned it with Nature's Orange, 100% food grade natural solvent. I thinned it probably 2 parts tongue oil, 1 part the Nature's Orange, and applied that. This is after 2 coats, and it's as smooth as a baby's bottom. I'm here to tell you what. I'm going to apply the 3rd coat this afternoon after we're done live and before Maurice's live stream. I like tongue oil on cutting boards. It's a more durable finish. The only problem with using tongue oil is, as a natural oil finish, it does take a while to cure. I put the first coat on, I want to say last Monday. No, it wasn't last Monday. Wow. I didn't know there'd be a quiz. I did let's see. I did the first coat Tuesday, the second coat Wednesday, and I'm going to do the 3rd coat today. And I'll assess from there. After the 3rd coat, if I do go a 4th coat, it will be I'll do it next Sunday. A 4th coat will go on next Sunday. Excuse me. Tongue oil takes a while to cure. Depending upon how thick you apply it, it could be up to 2, 3, 4 months to get a full cure. But that's because a lot of people do like a flood coat. You see these videos where they slow it down and they do the waka chicka music and everything so that it looks like, what it looks like. I don't do that. I use a paper towel, fold it over a few times so it's kind of like a stain applicator pad, and I just rub in thin coats. You're building up the coats. You're not trying to make the whole cutting board absorb. You're just building up thin coats. And it's been my experience that works a lot better. It also cures a lot faster. So let's see here. But thank you. Yeah, I think it's turning out great. And there are all kinds of woods in that. And that was mainly leftover scrap. I've got enough. I've got to make 2 more. I don't buy material for cutting boards. I have enough scrap. I make it all out of scrap. And this is no exception. That was all 100% leftover materials from other projects. So we've got
These are all walnut. A lot of that is reclaimed flooring, solid walnut flooring. I've got red oak, I've got maple, I've got walnut, I've got myrtle, I've got wenge, I've got canary wood, I've got maple, as I said, some sapele, white oak, just you name it, it's in here. And it's turning out great. I'm really liking this, and that finish. Oh man, is it ever nice! So, but this one is going to be my user. I made one for my wife a little over a year ago, and she won't let me near it with a knife. Yes, there is cherry in there too, Brooks. Yes, you're absolutely right. Um, Love those rubber sanding blocks. You can, okay, great for sharpening katanas and niku blades. I have two different types of sanding blocks. I have the little, um, some people say they're shaped like a computer mouse. Yeah, I can see it. I have these that hold the 5-inch sanding discs. And then this one here, this was my final sand on the cutting board, just a standard old sanding block. That was with the 400 grit sandpaper. Where can you get that cutting board finish? Again, I'll find a link and I'll put it in the description as soon as I'm done. But it's called, I'll put it over here in the chat. It's called Hope's 100% pure tongue oil. Whoops. Been spelling long, Mark. And make sure you're using 100% pure tongue oil. Doesn't matter what brand it is. Do not use tongue oil finish. Do not use tongue oil finish. Use 100% pure tongue oil. 100% pure tongue oil is food safe. Tongue oil finish usually has solvents. Some of them have varnish. Some of them it's 100% varnish and there's very little tongue oil in it at all. Do not use tongue oil finish. Use 100% pure tongue oil. Do you sand between coats of finish? No, sir, I do not. I apply. The first coat, as I said, was diluted, about 2 parts tongue oil, 1 part of the solvent. Stir it up, wipe it on. It absorbs real fast. That's okay. Let it sit overnight. The next day, went out and rubbed a coat of pure, unthinned tongue oil, just a real thin coat. And that sat for, well, until today. And now I'm going to apply the third coat. And if it needs a fourth coat, I'm going to wait till next Sunday to do it. So I will put a link down in the description to that tongue oil. And I'll put a link to that circle finder as well, that center finder. All right. Just tried to do a 3D cut with the center vector uncut like you showed. Worked great. Thanks. All right. Perfect. I do like it when people are following along in their software. It's great. Oh, hey, there's Maurice. Thanks for the call out. You're more than welcome. And hope to see everybody over at your live stream a little bit later on. All right. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Larry, sometimes the big box store has 100% pure tongue oil. More often than not, they don't. I will put a link, an Amazon link in the description as soon as we're finished. It's not expensive. It is a little stinky, so make sure you have good ventilation when you use it, but it's not toxic. It's just stinks. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Channel members, tomorrow we're going to get into a file from our fellow member Larry, working on carving a spoon. He had some issues. We got them fixed. I'll show you how I got those issues fixed tomorrow at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. I'm changing up the format a little bit. You'll see what I mean tomorrow. Hope to see y'all there. Check on the community tab here on my YouTube channel for the link. Hope to see y'all there. For everybody else, if you don't know what I'm talking about, or if you do know what I'm talking about, you want to know about channel membership, just look for the word join down there below this video panel somewhere. Click on that, and a panel's going to pop open, and a video is going to play. Tell you all about channel membership. We have a great group of people who are channel members. Some of the best people I've had I've been blessed to meet, and we'd love to have you join along. Channel members, I'll see you tomorrow evening. Everybody else, I have no idea what I'm going to do next week. Maybe we'll have a guest. Maybe we won't. We'll see what happens. But until then, thank you for spending part of your Sunday with me. I hope you'll spend part of it with Maurice over on Erickson Design and Woodworking's live stream. And about a half hour from now, roughly, going down the mental Rolodex in my brain. Yes, I think that's it. So y'all take care. Take the rest of the day off. Thanks for checking out my live stream. See you over at Maurice's. Y'all take care. We're almost there. We'll make it through this one. Y'all take care. Have a good one.